just give me a little background of Reid Metal Finishing. I know you guys have been around for a while, and it's family-owned operation, and kind of give me that little bit of background and how you got involved in all this. Whether you had a choice, right? Whether you had a choice.
So Reid started in 1979 with Jerry Reid, and he did a very successful job of it from all the way from 79 to around 2004. And then 2004, my dad purchased the company from Jerry. And from 2004 to 2018, he ran it. And then unfortunately, he had a stroke and passed away. So he passed it along to me. And one of the things that I wanted to prove to him was that he put it in the right hands. So it's been a really nice. It's been I guess I can't say nice, but it's been a fulfilling journey and crazy wild roller coaster ride. But it's been a lot of fun. It's been, it's Tim adding. We in 2012, just to get a little side note on, come in. Sorry about that, Tim. Please. In 2012, I unfortunately had cancer, and so one of the things that I did, I had to step out, do the chemo and surgery, all that stuff. And when I came back, I told my dad, I said, Dad, I really want to add value to the company. I don't want to just be back in customer service or a driver. I appreciate it, but I really want to add value to this company. So one of the things I looked into was non-destructive testing and NDT, fluorescent penetrant inspection. So I brought that in 2012, and it's 11 years strong now, and we're still doing great. So it's my little baby inside the company. But we've been doing anodizing and electroplating since '79, and we've only added to our scope. And we do a plethora of plating, electroplating, and anodizing, chromic, sulfuric, hard coat, chem film, passivation. I don't like to say we're a jack of all trades because I feel like we specialize in all those coatings. I know it seems like a lot, but we've got a great team over here.
Mm-hmm. Right. You kind of glossed over a bit. Like you said, you had a kind of a scare in 2012, right? And tell me about how reality set in with that. What kind of perspective did that give you?
My dad was one of the things I love about him. I miss him every day. But one of the things my dad was he wanted me to, really make my own way. And even though I worked for him, he really wanted me to still forge my own path, even if taking over the company was a plan. So I came in 2004 when he bought the company. I came in as a driver, just graduated high school. And I told my dad I wanted to start at the bottom, learn exactly everything to a T, how everything works. And got some funny stories to tell you about that. But, and worked for 2004 to around 2011. And unfortunately, I did a lot of training when I was younger, martial arts and stuff like that. And I got kicked in the groin, and I didn't block it, which was a good and bad thing. So right. I didn't block it. Unfortunately, what happened to him was I think she hit me and it bursted the tumor that was growing. It's a soft cell tumor, soft cell tumor. So she kicked me, and I think it burst, which kind of hurt me. And then I went to the doctor, and unfortunately found out I had testicular cancer. So it's one of those things that, and I go in. I went to my training facility that morning. Went to the doctor for a ultrasound, and right there they told me, you have cancer. You come in tomorrow to get surgery. It was kind of one of those things. Oh my goodness! Oh gosh,
how ironic!
I was healthy. I worked out a lot. I could not understand how I could have cancer right now, but it was one of those things that just smacked me down to really realize how precious every moment is. You really got to take advantage of every moment you have. I know it sounds cliche, but sitting in that chemo ward, I met a lot of beautiful ladies that had breast cancer, and it's just, it reminded me a lot. Even though mine was horrendous and I hated what I had to go through, I saw people that had to go through even worse than me. So it really put a lot of perspective into it. Sucked what I had to go through, but it could have been a lot worse. And when I got out of it, it showed me that I really just wanted to add value to what my dad's company was. And then when I spoke about NDT, he and I decided that was a great fit to start an NDT company on the side, kind of as a sister company to Reid, build that guy up, learn business, and then infuse it into Reid, and then you can take over the company. And And that was the plan. 2012, I got NADCAP approved and everything went nice and smooth. I'm really proud of myself for NADCAP, passing the NADCAP, the first audit. So we got to about
tough,
2016, and I got ready to start my other business. Was going to get mag particle inspection in as well. And then 2017, unfortunately, my dad had a stroke. So it was kind of in the interim of starting the business. My dad had that medical issue, and then I had to start really stepping in at Reid, and then unfortunately passed away, so that I took over completely. And it was one of those things that at 33 years old, I wasn't prepared for it. I think he and I kind of discussed. He had a stroke in 2017, which it was one of those things, Tim. That was one of those things that it didn't seem like he had one, but his mind definitely did change. And then 2018, he had the major one. So he didn't really have a lot of time to teach me and get me ready to take over the business. And then his untimely death happened, and I just had to be thrown straight into the driver's seat. And I learned a lot, and it was definitely a trial by fire. But I wasn't going to let him down, and I wasn't going to let the team down here. There's a lot of people here. I grew up with them, so it was really a lot of fun to be a part of their lives, and now be in a different light, but still be able to respect them and them respect me in the same light. It really means a lot to me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this is a tough business to be in, the industry that you're in, right? A lot of regulations, a lot of things that you have to make sure you're doing everything exactly to the T. But you mentioned something there. You didn't think you were really ready to take over, which is, kind of a humble statement to say. A lot of people think they can do it, but I'm sure you saw your father and how he did things, and it was tough. What were some of the things that you did to kind of not only for yourself to get the business up and going, but also to prove to your team you're the guy, you can do this for them? I mean, were there any things that you had to really step back and make a plan of how you were going to do it?
Tim, it really came down to, so my dad had a business partner at the time, and they were really, for lack of a better term, really micromanaged style, really kind of oversee everything and kind of make the final decision. Really the kind of final decision went through those guys, which was okay. It was their business. That's how they wanted to run it. When I took over, Tim, it was really, being able to start as a driver, and I never wanted to be treated as the owner's son. I didn't care. I actually, my dad, the one thing I love about it, and hopefully I could do with my kids, is he made sure that I was treated a little less important than the regular person, just because I was the owner's son. So I got to really understand the team and understand some of the ideas they had, and there was some just beautiful ideas that people had that unfortunately that I think were a little hogtied, because they cost money, they're things that we have not tried before, so it's a lot of unknowns. So when I took over, Tim, I really wanted to lean on my team, my waste management, my waste treatment operator, excuse me. He had some really great ideas, and he just never had a chance to try them out. Again, because they were expensive, and I understand why. But it was one of those things that I focused inward. I guess the way the previous management was the customer, focus on the customer. And what I wanted to do was focus on the employee and say, okay, what your job is to do anodizing, your job is to do electroplating, your job is to do waste treatment. You do it every day. It's on your hands every day. If you have better ideas, please bring them to me, and let's try them. And I'm telling you, Tim, they've saved the company hundreds of thousands, if not $1 million, with just their ideas. So what the thing that I did was just really step back and let the team really do what they wanted to do and do what they were hired to do. And that's really where I changed it. It didn't really want to go out and explain to the customers that ownership changed everything. I kept it completely silent. So obviously because of the issues at hand anyway, but it was really just listening to my team, letting them decide, listening to my consultants. A lot of ego gets into play when you're an owner. I completely understand that. I saw it, unfortunately, with previous management. So really for me, Tim, it came down to leaning on the team, using their ideas, running with them. Some of them worked, some of them didn't work. But I'm telling you, Tim, some of the ones that did work, I might even patent, because they're really intelligent.
Right. Right. Yeah, I've often heard, good successful people say they don't have to be the smartest person in the room. They just need to
Yes,
have the
exactly.
smartest person in the room.
Yep.
Right. And you don't need, and I think as a manager and an owner, it also helps sort of, I don't want to say lessen the burden on you a little bit, but you don't have to come up with every idea, or you don't have to come up with all solutions. You've got these people that really, this is what they do every day. And it sounds like you really, relied on them to kind of, like I said, do their job and really grow with it, right?
The ultimate goal for me, Tim, to be honest, is I would like to continue acquiring other metal finishing shops because I really believe in what we do, and I guess the old cliche saying is, you fight now so your kids don't have to, and we're in for an epic battle. They're looking at a ban at 2039 and all that, and the one thing I want to understand or get to them to understand is that we don't want to hurt the environment. We want to keep it as clean as possible, and also understand that we have to produce products here. We have to make things. It can't just be consumer based. We have to manufacture some things here. So it's a fun part for me to be able to be able to purchase other companies, and then just be able to have more of a bigger voice, and just get out there and try to explain to the public, because I think that's what it comes down to, really. Just explain to the public who we are, and we aren't this big bad monster that's contaminating every water source we have. We're doing everything we can to keep it clean. So that's really where my focus is. So that's why I rely on the team so much, because I want to go out and get more more of a voice, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right. You talk about acquisitions. Talk about some of those. You picked up some, or what's been happening with that?
I purchased a company, another metal finishing company in 2022 named Superior Processing, and they've specialized in PCB plating, ENIG and ENIPIG, immersion silver and tin. And it was one of those things that these companies don't really come up for sale very often. And when they do, I noticed I had a lot of competition with equity firms and bigger investment firms and stuff like that, and I'm just a lowly guy. I guess just to give you an example, Tim, the deal that I just purchased last year, they initially went with a PE group first, and again, who knows what the truth is, but in my opinion, I think it was, man, they get in there, they promise you the world, and then they start beating you down with everything, and I get it, I understand, but when you see me, you get what you get. I'm not going to have a secret team behind me. And that's really where I try to make my focal point is I want to keep it. I know we're growing and I know we're getting multiple businesses, but it's still going to stay just as family oriented, because I think that's what keeps these businesses so successful.
Right. How have you been integrating that and spending your time with have you integrated them, or is it?
So I'll keep them separate for now, just because they don't really cross over. Reid Metal Finishing is more the anodizing, electroplating of aerospace and whatnot, military, and Superior is solely just PCB boards. So they don't really do anything else with that. I've thought about trying to infuse it into Reid, but it comes down to the power constraints, and then unfortunately the permits and all that stuff doesn't look like we're going to be able to apply for any permits at the beginning of next year. So it really comes down to it. I don't really think we're going to be able to move much in the way, because of just the permitting process is just going to be a nightmare if it's even possible.
Right. Yeah, these are two different, really, anodizing and then the circuitry, two different operations, right? And again, but it's good, I guess, because it's diversified so much, right? You've got, And what are your plans, I guess, for that? What attracted you to it?
The one thing I wanted to do is the same thing that my dad did for Reid. Is when he bought it, he really focused on how are we going to grow this business, and how are we going to make it more of a major player in our industry, and that was NatCap at that time. We really wanted to go NatCap, so we fought through it. We had a little struggles in the beginning, but then we got the NatCap in here, and we've been flying ever since. So that's really what I want to go with Superior. The goal over there is get them NatCap approved, get some of their prime approvals up. We used to have Lockheed, but unfortunately that fell through. So I want to try to go pursue that and pursue some of the other prime contractors. But really, it's really about just growing that place organically by seeing how Reid grew. I kind of make a joke, Tim, that
Right.
RMFU, it's RMF University for me. This is where I've learned everything. And I take my accounting team and they're helping me over there. My quality team's helping me with the NADCAP. It's really, I really want like you said, they don't really cross over. So it's kind of how are you going to do it? But it really, for me, it came down to the metal finishing industry. That industry, to me, I'm just so fascinated with it. I grew up with it. I went to my dad's facilities at Englehart and all these other places, sat and played Warcraft on his computer while he's out in the plating lines, just playing around. And I just love this industry. I love the people in it. I've loved everybody that I've worked with. They've just been amazing characters, amazing stories behind those people. And just to hear that, when I took over in 2018, again, I was planning on taking over in 10, 15 years, never anywhere near 2018. I started to realize just how much of a fight we had with the CARB and AQMD and EPA and OSHA and all that stuff. And
right.
I just kept looking at it like, okay, I don't understand why it's just feelings based or political based. Can we talk science based here? And then when they use the science, it's the extreme side of the science. Like if our tanks were maxed out
Right.
to the brim every hour.
Worst case scenario.
So I just wish we could get to some sort of
Right.
compromise. But when I saw that, I realized, okay, if 2039 is going to come, and my ultimate goal is I don't want to sell these businesses. I would like to pass them down to my kids eventually. Well, that's going to be kind of impossible if we're outlawed. So I'm ready for the fight. We had one legislative person that was at least on our side, but I don't think she's in the committee anymore. So it's going to be an uphill battle, and I understand because it's scary. It's not fun stuff. It's not clean, but it's necessary, and that's what I want to get out there.
Right. Well, a lot of it, and to Superior. Now, how many people do you have?
Superior is a smaller operation. We have 10.
Just 10. Okay. But, like you said, some of the management principles that you've used at Reid, it's going to be, I guess, part of the plan to kind of use that some at this new operation as well. You've seen it. You've seen it work. For you, right?
Actually, it's one of the things. Again, growing up in the company the way I did, I was able to find the people inside the company that really do care and really want to see this place flourish. And it was one of those things, Tim, that I was able to give two individuals an opportunity that I don't know if they would have gotten had I not been able to be with me. And that's my general manager at Reid, which is Susie Underwood, and my general manager over at Superior, which is Robert. And they both, again, are from Reid. Susie was our HR director, and Robert was a quality assistant. And it's, to me, it's about just finding the right people and finding the people that really want to learn and grow with you and with your company. And those two are kind of people. So the other thing too, I was a part of a couple Dale Carnegie classes that I think those really helped me transform my management skills and understand ego and how to keep yourself in control. That really helped my management style. And it really came down to anytime I promote any kind of management inside my facilities, they have to go through the Dale Carnegie course just to really sharpen their skills and everything. I like to find people. My goal, Tim, is if I can find people that didn't apply for for example, a general manager, instead of having a general manager apply, who in the company has really shown that they really care, really want to flourish. And for example, that was Robert. And he went from being a quality assistant in Reid to the general manager of a facility. That's some serious rung skipping, in my opinion. But he has done a phenomenal job, and those are the kind of things that really mean a lot to me. So, management skill for me is just really leaning on those people, but having those people get trained in kind of the Dale Carnegie ways. And I also was in part of the Vistage groups, just listening to other business owners and how they manage their people. For me, it's just those people are really important to me.
Right. Well, it's funny you mentioned you saw how previously micromanagement can be not a good idea. How do you, as one person, you can't be two places at once. How do you manage both operations? How are you as a owner of both, trying to adapt to that, of being available and also overseeing? How
I have,
that?
for example, my general manager. I put a lot of control in their hands. I want them to be able to. Again, I guess it came down to that micromanagement. If I have a general manager at the facility, but I'm at the facility all the time, it doesn't really make sense to have a GM, because that's kind of who I am. But my goal was to continue purchasing companies, which, like you said, I won't be able to be at every company every day. So for me, it really was coming down to leaning on my GMs and having my core group, my HR director, my office accounting manager that are at Reid. They go over to Superior and help. So kind of having my management team kind of travel with me, kind of traveling management team. Yeah, excuse me. Of my HR, my office manager, or my accounting manager, and my quality. So whenever, like for example, when I purchased Superior, we still have the same quality guy. Everything's the same. We just have Julio from Reid helping get their NatCap ready, because it's a smaller operation, and we have a lot more hands over here to help with. So it really comes down to just leaning on them, leaning on the team, letting them make the decisions they need to make, and owning up and taking responsibility myself if they make a mistake. I own up to it. I don't let them just take the sword. That's one of the things I think really has helped me with having the loyalty with them. It's not just, oh man, you guys screwed up. It's all right. I'll take the blame on this. Let's fix it. It's okay. For example, we at one point about a year ago, we were starting to get busy again, and we had to extend our lead times, which is just a no. You absolutely can't do that in our industry. You just can't. There's only one way to learn. So we extended the lead times from, I think, 1 week to 3 weeks, and just turned into a ghost town. So we called everybody and said, look, we made a mistake. We got busy. We didn't handle it correctly. But it was those things. It's let the team make the mistakes, and let them learn from them, and be there for them, and don't just let them take the blame for it. That's really helped me.
Right. Did I read that you were actually had something in South Dakota?
I was in the process of starting something in South Dakota, because actually, when I purchased my business partner his shares at the beginning of 2020, which was a really great time, right? I bought the business, and then the world shut down. But I was really, once I purchased the shares, I was really adamant about purchasing another company. And that's when Superior came up. Talked to them, then they unfortunately went with the other group. So I thought, okay, then I'll just explore. The world shut down, or California shut down. So I took my family. I just said, let's go for a road trip, because I'm getting cabin fever here. And we went to South Dakota, and I actually just absolutely fell in love with it out there. So I just talked to the economic team out there, because they have that Ellsworth Air Force Base that has the B-1 bombers. Kind of pushed into it. There was an opportunity out there, started really leaning into it. And then right when I was getting ready to pull the trigger, Superior Processing came back on the board, and I kind of only had the funds for one. And for me, it was, I talked to my wife about it. We came to a conclusion together, and we thought, it would be nice to start something. But unfortunately, since we were thrown into Reid, we are now at the point where I think we don't really need to start from the bottom, and we should kind of focus on companies that have a name and have a reputation, and kind of build those up. So then we pivoted back to Superior, and I say I put it on the back burner, but I probably won't be able to do anything with it, because I have another couple opportunities right now that, again, they're already established, and I kind of have to go with that.
Right. Yeah. I was gonna say, are you looking at others? Looking at other opportunities? Okay. Yeah. And like you said, it sounds like, it worked for Warren Buffett, where he buy a company and he lets the people that built it run it. Is that's kind of the idea you've got there, is find good companies with good people. When you don't really buy a company, you buy the people, right? That are running it. And is that kind of the game plan there, is to find, people with good management, people that can run it?
For example, one of the companies I'm talking to right now, I think the shortest tenured person, I think, is 10 years. So everybody's been there 10 plus years, 20 years. And those are the kind of companies that tell me, okay, They have a really good culture. They have a really good management team. They don't have high turnover, which tells me they just like being there. Because obviously money's important. We all need to make money, but at the end of the day, if you don't have a good culture around you, I would, if it was me, I would leave. So just to know that, like for example, the company I'm interested in right now, they have their manager's been there for 22 years. Their team's been there for 10 plus years. Okay, they know what they're doing. They got a good team. So for me, yeah, it comes down to good people, a good quality product. I don't really want to go in. It's not really distressed. I'm not interested in companies that their quality is faltered and stuff like that. I know I could go in there and deal with that, but for me, it's just you have a good name. I'll pay a little bit more to get that company because you have really worked hard to create something, and then I can continue run with it and building with it.
Right. Yeah, it sounds like a very good plan. And, there's a lot of, a lot of those companies out there. And it's funny because, I hear from time to time a lot of shops that are sort of looking to get out. And one of the things they're always concerned about is, the owners is they're worried about the employees, right? They want somebody who can come in and really work with the employees and not just take it and shelve a lot of it. They really want people that will keep these people working and everything. So, well, that's great. And it's funny is that I just talking to somebody the other day who actually is retired. He's almost in his 80s, and he ran a business for about 40 years. And one of the things he said to me was, where I see people in this industry that are successful are the ones that know how to run the business almost more than they do how to be out in the shop, right? You've got to run the business. You've got to turn a profit. You've got to take care of employees. And that seems to be the secret, right? Is to have that down pat, a good business model, a good culture like you talked about, and the quality comes after that, right? It follows, I should say. It follows with that, right? And like I said, it's a very, very inspiring story, and keeping yourself busy sounds like, right?
When I went through that all with my dad, and unfortunately, I was going to the hospital and all that stuff. I kept telling him, Dad, you're okay. You get better, you get healthy, and I'll prove to you left it in the right hands. And unfortunately, it didn't go the way we wanted it to go. But he's in a much better place and all. And I just really know that, with losing him when I did and going through a little bit of an ownership dispute, getting the company under my wing, and we came to an agreement in March of 2020. I mean, it could not have been a rougher time to finally, we had the Boeing 737 issue because we rely a lot of the washers and nuts and bolts that go on that stuff, and then the COVID happened and the aerospace industry just shut down. So it's been, I had to crawl. I had to spend a lot of money to fix a lot of things, but it's a testament to the people that I work with that we're still successful and alive today. And a lot of those shops out there, a lot of them didn't make it, and unfortunately, I feel bad for them. They had no control over it. We did nothing. If Tim, if I made a mistake, or if I put in a new line, or I upped my prices 50% and everybody left because I screwed up, okay. When we had no control over our industry and they just shut it down, and I'm not political or not getting into it. I understand what they were doing, but it was a rough one. So it's one of those things. For when we went through what we went through, I really wanted to divert. So one of the things I went out and got, we went out and got our FFL license to start being able to do serialized firearms. I'm looking into the medical, titanium anodides and stuff like that. We're now in the process of setting up our paint booth to do primer. We're getting our mag particle NADCAP, or going through our NADCAP at the middle of the year, I think around June. So we're just going to continue growing and continue getting this place bigger. I know that was the one thing for me, Tim. It's like, we got these people that are coming after us and essentially going to make my business worthless if it goes the way they're going. But not on my watch, Tim. But no, but just I want to keep growing and showing them that we're growing the right way. We're keeping everything clean, making sure nothing gets thrown into the air, into the water. Our employees that's the number one for me, Tim. When I took over in 2018, I don't want to get too, I can't get too into the weeds, but we were having some legal issues at the time, and I'm very proud of this, and I guess it's one thing that I will hold dear to my heart. We were going through the legal issues, and when opposing counsel was arguing their case, they said we can argue up till April 2018. And everybody said, what changed in April 2018? And the only thing that changed was that's when I took over. And I said, no, we're not doing anything. We're going to focus on the people. We're going to focus inward. How do we make everything right? All that stuff. And it was one of those things that really meant a lot to me. That taking it over and really just focusing, like you said, just focus on the people, Tim. Let them do their jobs. If I need to do a job or get out there and help them, absolutely. If I got to throw my apron on and do some NDT work or clean some parts for some anodize, I will. I'm here for the team. I want to see this place thrive. That's what I want to see.